and KDWRadio.com, broadcasting from the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower right here in Northport, Florida. We've got two very special guests in the house today, Mike Indy and Bill Mousseau with STC at Toledo Blade and Cranberry, the Northport campus. I'm going to start out with introductions with Mike Indy. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Mike Indy. I'm the assistant director here at our STC Northport branch. We've been open, 3 years now, going on our 4th year. The school's continually growing, and excited to talk a little bit about the programs today.
Well, I really appreciate you being on and really short notice, but you know, we've got the new format and it kind of makes it nice that you don't only have to leave the office and you can be right here on the radio.
No, it's perfect. And, you know, if I don't make you happy, then your wife's going to, you know, give me a hard time here at the school. So,
and that is the goal. Because when she gives you a hard way to go at the school, she doesn't come home and give me a hard way to go.
There you go.
So, all right, Bill, go ahead and introduce yourself and give some background.
I'm Bill Mousseau. I'm the carpentry teacher here at STC. I've been in the district for 22 years, teaching building trades in some aspect. I was a contractor up north for a while, but most of my time's been in teaching.
Where is up north?
Up in New England, New Hampshire.
Nice. I was picking up that a little bit. And of course, I knew that, but I was letting on a little. But you've been at STC now since it started, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yes, I made the jump right over immediately when this position became available.
And since the program started, where do you think it's gone since you started the program to where it's at today?
Well, I've definitely seen it grow. We started out a little slow, but my adult base, I cater to both high school students and adults, and my adult base has grown, and the need has grown as well in the area. So there's a big need for carpenters, and I have local companies contacting me all the time.
Do you get your students placed right away after they graduate in most cases?
Yeah, we try to. We try our best. Some of my high school students go on to college afterwards. But if they want the job, it's there for them. Because there's plenty of.
What do you find the value for the program for kids in high school? Do you see a lot of them transitioning and going on into college and furthering that trade?
I would have to say it's 50-50. I do have, even if they don't go on to work for a contractor or become one themselves, I have some that's what their aspirations are. They want to have their own company and start their own business. Even if they didn't take it that far, this is just some real life skills that are good to know for later on in life.
Well, and did you take it in high school or in junior high like I did?
I had it all 4 years, and I had many independent studies. Yes.
So that comes in handy. You're quite the handyman at home, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
And in today's world where you've got a lot of kids on the computer and doing different things there's actually some really cool stuff that they could get into once they understand how to build it, even with like the CAD programs and different things like that, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's not just swinging a hammer nowadays. We actually teach them how to use the laser for different projects, whether it could be an inlay on a cabinet door, it could be many things. We also have a CNC router. A lot of cabinet shops now are turning the CNC route and have been for quite some time.
Right. Do you have a lot of newer equipment coming as the program builds?
As I need it right now, I started with brand new equipment, so I'm pretty up to date on what's out there, but we pretty much mirror any type of shop.
And that's really valuable time that people can spend in the shop learning, right?
Correct. This is I try to make this program as much hands-on as possible.
Is there? Go ahead.
I myself was a hands-on learner. I just couldn't wait to get my hands on something and build something and step back and go, oh wow, I did that. So I try to give that same. You can't have too much experience on it with any type of machine or any type of tool. So.
And I'm going to hit a couple things because how many kids do you have, or adults, should I say? We've gotten out of the high school realm of your background. How many young adults and up do you have in one class?
In one class right now, I have 7 adults, and they're with me all day long. So they're doing different tasks that we have going on.
All day long is give your time frame.
From 7:45 in the morning till 2:15 in the afternoon.
So it's a full day.
It's a full day, 6-hour day with a half hour for lunch, and we're pretty busy that whole time.
So you've got anywhere from high school students on up, correct?
Correct. Yes.
What's
juniors in high school?
All right. So roughly 16, 17?
Yes.
Youngest? And then what's your oldest student you've had in?
Oldest student right now is 57.
Good to know. That's a big range, and things are changing in our world right now with COVID being here and really some recreation of jobs out there. Do you feel like your program is in a foothold now to really develop and move more students than 7, or do you think 7's kind of your niche?
Oh no, we can definitely add more. The more the merrier. That's the saying.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to clarify. It's 7 adults, but then there's we started the year with 14 other high school students on top of that. Okay. So he's seeing anywhere from 16 to 25 students a year. But instead of being primarily high school, we're starting to see the numbers grow and grow with adults, which is very good.
Well, and that adds into life changes. We talked about this several times with the different programs that you guys have at STC. The value is you're actually retraining people and giving them some education a lot of times on things they didn't have, or a refresher course, so that it makes them more valuable in the workforce, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, you can go work in the service industry, but, unfortunately with things like this pandemic, the service industry gets hit the hardest, but people are still building homes. People are still out there working. You still need your AC. You still need your electricity. So the jobs that we are training for are those essential jobs that there's no downtime. Those people are still collecting paychecks and making good money. And then on top of that, in all of this craziness out there, the housing market's out of control, and we're building homes all over Northport. So these students get opportunities to great jobs right out of the gate.
And that's different than, back when Bill and I were younger. I might have a couple of years on Bill, I'm not sure, but it's back in the day, you came out of school and jobs were not a dime a dozen. A lot of times you had to go in and kind of challenge yourself. Today, you can pretty much graduate and go to work. And that's in almost everything that you offer at STC, correct?
Absolutely. And then on top of that, they're coming out with skills. I mean, a lot of employers are in such a dire need that they'll take somebody who's just willing to work. But our students come in above and beyond that and start at a higher pay grade and can hit the ground running and learning. So,
Bill, what are some of the things that you've seen in the last 3.5 years that have really made a difference with students from from the first time you started at STC. Now, you were a teacher before that, instructor before that, but what are some of the things that you've seen that have grown in that program since you started over at STC?
Our technology base. Also, I got to say, my skill sets. One thing that I try to do more now is more hands-on with as many different tools as possible. That makes all my students more valuable when they're going. I need to get them proficient in using the machines and using the hand tools and knowing what a woodworking joint is and how to make it. So a lot of it on my end has been using tools more. That's how my program has progressed. As far as the building industry, it's been the same as far as the technology, but it's multiplied 10 times. I mean, it's the opportunities out now are crazy. Like I say, I have many local employers calling and emailing, asking for graduates.
I imagine that you're kind of inundated with people needing workers at this point, which
Yeah.
I would have said, 10, 15 years ago, we were flooded with workers. I don't think we've really brought back the workforce that we had back in 05 and 06 back in the day when we were booming before. I still don't think we've brought that back to full tilt yet. Programs like this just add so much value to, one, the community, but two, the people who participate in the program, because they get that instant jump start into either a new career or a fresh start into a career. And they build a lot of confidence within your program, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree that housing crash in 2007, 8, I mean, that created, people retired, and the workforce, let's face it, back then was a little older. It wasn't a young workforce. They either retired or they just packed up and moved out of state, which left a big void around here. And now that it's come back just as strong, if not more than previous to that, there's a big void for even semi-skilled workers.
Do you find that the timing of not only the build, but even the pandemic side of things, because we have so many people moving from northern states, California, we're getting inundated. 2,000 people a day are moving into Florida. Do you find that that's really kind of threw some gas on the fire, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's created a big need for housing, for sure.
And with your program, how long is the program from start to finish?
So the program, excuse me, is approximately 11 months. It's a hourly based program for 1,200 hours. So once they have completed the 1,200 hours, which is basically a school year, a basic school year, and a month afterwards. So it's about 11-month program. And they walk away with some, we have a nationally accredited curriculum that we use. So they will all walk away with certifications from NCCER, which is a curriculum that we use to do our book work.
So is that more of a certificate that they're walking away with?
Correct. It's not a state certificate, but it's a certificate that lets a potential employer know what their skill base is or their skill set.
So they're not coming in empty-handed. So 11 months puts them probably a few dollars an hour higher than somebody that's just walking in off the street.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And in this program, they also obtain their OSHA 10-hour card for the construction industry. That gives you an upper hand too. Just about every employer wants you to have the OSHA 10 card.
So would you say that people who are younger generation and older that are within the scope of your program, they're kind of doing some check marks in the job realm with some of the things that you offer it within the program? One, hands-on, and two, they get the certificate and then the OSHA. I'm sure employers think that that's got great value added in because they don't have to do a lot of teaching at that point, correct?
Correct. Yeah, they don't. They're going to leave here with all the basic skills that they need, and maybe some more advanced skills as well. But they will be able to go work for an employer that every employer wants to train their new employees how they want things done. So if my students leave here with a great understanding of the processes and methods and how to use these tools, then that makes it so much easier for a potential employer to hire these students and less time training them on how to do something or what to do.
Well, and that's got value for the employer at that point, because the supervision or the buddy system when you get to work kind of changes a little bit, because you have a little bit of faith, and I'm sure that your employers that call in and ask you, do you have another student, they're building rapport with you too.
Yes.
And your credibility, STC's credibility has to be gaining over the last 3 years. It has to be gaining tremendously.
Yes, sure. Absolutely.
Mike, how much would the program cost for somebody that's looking in potentially?
I want to say the carpentry program, I believe, is right between $5,000 and $6,000. I believe it's like $5,400, give or take a few $100s. But remember too, we have, number one, financial aid. You can apply for a Pell Grant. Outside of that, you got scholarships that we offer that you can apply for. There's other agencies like CareerSource Suncoast and CareerSource Southwest that will help pay for some of these programs. So if a student wants to come in and the financial end of it's an issue, they can get that taken care of and walk away with all that training, a job, and no money out of pocket potentially.
And you have great staff over there as far as someone to help. Would you want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. As far as helping, as far as my guidance counselor.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can come to Student Services, give us a call, and then they'll set you up an appointment to meet with our guidance counselor, Jody Vaughn. She does an excellent job. She knows our programs inside and out. She will guide you through the financial aid process. She will guide you through all of it. And if you want to be here, and there's no reason not to be here if you want to come here, we will get you through the financial end. We'll get you through the enrollment. You'll start the class. The teachers are fantastic. And, before you know it, you're done with the program. You're on your way to a good career.
Would you say you're kind of taking the fear out of the financial side of things if people just are willing to come in the door?
No, absolutely. I mean, you have to just come in the door. There's always situations where a student has a financial issue that we can't resolve due to past issues that they've had on their end, but we work through a lot. So financial should not be the reason not to be coming in here. If you're worried about that, that should be secondary. 9 out of 10 people we find a solution for. So don't let that be the thing that stops you. We offer remediation. If you didn't get your high school diploma, we have remediation to help you during the program to obtain things like that. So there's really honestly no reason. I mean, if we have the career you're interested in, just come through our doors and we'll get you there.
And we're going to elaborate on some other programs here in a minute. But Bill, do you find that the challenges are and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Do you feel like the challenges at STC are being met for almost all the students out there?
Absolutely. Yes. I'd like to say that we prepare our students pretty good in this class. Some of the projects that we do, we build sheds, which a shed is basically a small house. So we cover the hurricane codes, proper building techniques. So a shed that, and we also offer them to the public as well. But our sheds are built like a house. They're solid, they're strong, and nothing like you would find at a big box store.
What's that take for someone if they're interested? Since we kind of hit that subject, is there a waiting list for a shed?
There's just a list. There isn't a waiting list, but they could just contact the school or contact me through my email from the school website, and we could talk.
So the number is 941-257-2252, and just talk to anybody who answers the phone. Mike, you can elaborate on that a little bit on how they can handle getting information about the shed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're interested in us building a shed for you, we don't take on too many sidetrack projects, but this is a great project. It's really cool to see the students build from the foundation to the inside skeleton of it, to building the roof and trusses. I mean, it really is like building a small house. It's not like some of the kind of metal box ones you see on the side of the road that you can purchase. But anyway, if they call the school and just ask for information about it, they're going to direct them either to me or Bill, and we will get them in contact. And it's not something we're making a large profit on. We're covering costs and a little bit of wear and tear on the equipment to make sure that we're replacing things as we use it up. But I see a question: do you apply for the permit or does the homeowner? The homeowner will have to apply. There are some regulations. We've worked with the city of Northport, Bill and I have, on making sure that if we sell these things to the public, that it's something that you can put on your property without getting in trouble. You do have to go through the city. If you go past a certain size, I believe it's 120 square foot or bigger, then you have to have different engineer designs. So we are going to have to stick a little smaller. We have worked on some engineer designs with a local engineer that donated them to us. What was that, L3?
L&T Engineering. They help us out quite a bit.
So they're fantastic and got us. So we have the wind tie down designs that the city needs. So, but we were really in negotiations, and then COVID happened and everything kind of shut down. We want to kind of get that squared away. We do know that the smaller sheds are going to be fine. You just have to pull permit and show them where you're going to put it and make sure that's not on a right of way and it's tied down properly. But yes, those bases are covered.
So
yes,
when you say smaller shed, give the size, and then go ahead, Bill. I interrupted you a little bit.
Well, Northport just revamped their codes on sheds on your property. So before, it was anything that went on your property had to have engineering and permitted and all this great stuff, which is good. However, they were getting inundated with homeowners complaining about having to go through all this just for a shed on their property. So they revamped their building requirements, and I believe off the top of my head, it's 120 square feet. You apply for it. You still have to have them come out and inspect it when it's done, but you don't have to submit engineering for it.
Nice.
And you have to, although we do, like I said, we worked with L&T and they drew us up engineering for a couple different size sheds. So we do have engineering. The most thing that Northport's concerned about now is how it's tied down. So they have to see it. They have to see it tied down, and they have to make sure you didn't encroach on any setbacks.
All right, I've got a plug in here. Sorry, guys. I had a plug and it's malfunctioning. But tell us a little bit about the relationship that you have with the city that made everything move that much smoother.
Well, we had a few meetings with them just to help clarify. We have inspectors on board to come in and inspect as needed during the building process. This is when permits were needed. So when permits were needed, they agreed to have inspectors come and inspect during the progress of building shed. But since it's revamped, that's really not needed anymore. But we've had a couple of meetings with the city.
Well, and I'm kind of proud to have learned that, because because of STC being there and you taking on the shed projects, hasn't that really helped anyone now within the city? Because you've worked with them on the permitting side of things? Yeah,
I'm sure. I think that Northport already had this in the works way before we were doing this, like I said, because I'm sure they were getting inundated with a lot of complaints about the process. So they streamlined it. Years ago, you didn't need one, then you needed one, and then I think they went back to the original game plan.
That's awesome. That is awesome. It's amazing to me how well things have gone, and the things I didn't know about your program. That's one of them. The fact that you have 14 to 15 students when you start out, that's a large undertaking. That's another thing that I think that there's a huge value out there for 15 people to get a really fresh start every 11 months into a program that really can net them some big gains as far as income.
Yeah. And then the other thing I want to throw in there is not just every 11 months, but we have entrance points a couple times a year. So, when you think school, you traditionally think August start, September start, but we also have a January, February start. Bill's upcoming start date, I believe, is, what's your upcoming start date, Bill? Monday.
Yes.
So we got some new carpentry students coming in. So a couple times a year too. So if you just missed out on this one, by the time you get your financial aid and all your stuff in account and make the proper changes in your life to take a daytime class, you can be ready for August if you missed this one. So there's multiple times for students to come in. And then as far as high school students, we take juniors and seniors from Northport High School and Imagine. And if you're willing to, as long as you're on track to graduate and you have good attendance and no behavior issues, we're going to take you in.
And there's a lot of safety that goes into your program, correct, Bill?
Correct. That's number one in my book here is safe. Being safe using machines, being safe in the shop, knowing proper etiquette. I want everybody to leave here with their fingers.
And that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
I go out there on a daily basis checking on those guys, and they're out there building. Right now, they're building $8,000 worth of workbenches for Sarasota High School's ag program. They've got a stage built for Woodland Middle School. They're working on, a couple of the students are working on a cabinet for somebody, and just all the different levels of work. They've all got the table saw going, the panel saw going. They've got hand tools going. It's like kicking over an anthill in there. It's good stuff.
Well, Bill, I didn't mean to keep you on for 25 minutes, but you've been gracious enough to stick around. Is there anything you'd like to add about your program?
This is a great opportunity for people to get a chance to use tools, either whether or not you're going to go to work for a contractor, or if you just want the skill set for yourself, to be able to work on your home yourself and not have to call somebody in. It's just a great skill set to learn, to be able to do many of these processes that we do. Awesome.
Well, I appreciate your time. If you want to take the carpentry class, call 941-257. I think it's 2222. Right?
2252.
2252. I'm sorry, it scrolled right off. There it goes again. But 2252. get a hold of the STC program at Toledo Blade and Price, and you're in great hands over there with Bill Mousseau.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Bill, for being on. I'll let you go back to work, but I'll bring Mike on instead, and we'll learn some more about STC.
All right. Great talking with you.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks, Bill. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about some of the other programs. We've talked about nursing programs. Of course, my wife is the nursing instructor there. We've got a new nursing instructor since we last spoke, Chantel. And so now we're running 2 classes, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I am super excited about that. One of my biggest concerns over the last 3 years of being open is we've had one nursing program that takes about 13 months. So, when it takes 13 months and a class just starts, if somebody calls in, now they've got to wait almost a year to start with us. They're going to go somewhere else.
Right.
So we've been able to bring in the extra nursing instructor, Chantel Hawley. She's done a fantastic job. She's going to come in. She's going to teach the front half of the program. Rawlings is going to teach the back half of the program. And at the halfway point each time, they'll transition those students so we can start a new class. So we're going to be getting 2 classes in a year instead of 1 as far as start dates, which will be very big for us. And then that'll kind of mirror what we do with EMT. EMT is only a half a year program, but we've got 2 start dates every year. We fill it up every time. So it's good stuff. And then the nursing class between the North Campus and who've applied here, we should be filling that class coming up. So we should have full nursing programs twice a year. Very excited for that.
What are some of the other programs that you offer? We're going to kind of highlight some of those, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So outside of nursing, EMT, in the industrial realm, we also have industrial machinery maintenance and repair. That's kind of like the automotive mechanic of the manufacturing world. Those guys learn fabrication. They learn how to work on CNC machines and all sorts of machines, welding, torching, MIG welding, TIG welding, some plumbing basics, electricity. So that's kind of a jack of all trades in the manufacturing world. Great program. Business, we have 3 business programs. We started a new program this year, which we're super excited about, which is the medical admin office specialist. So now you can go work in the front end of a doctor's office or any billing company. You're going to get a certification that says you know how to enter the coding properly so they can do medical billing and coding. We have business management analysis and then also accounting operations. So those are our 3 business programs. They're clumped together in the same class. It's all module based, but great set of programs. And then who am I leaving now? Oh, my favorite, one of my favorites, culinary. Imagine that.
Our favorites.
Yes. So culinary arts, leave here with, be able to go out and be a line cook and a cook in a kitchen, move on to places like Johnson & Wales and other Kaiser and some other culinary institutions to work on becoming a head chef. Either that or you go into the trade and work your way up, either way. But those guys do a fantastic job. We have a bistro coming up next week. So next week on Tuesday through Thursday, it's open to the public for pickup only because of COVID. The dining area isn't open, but we're going to do chicken cordon bleu next week. So super excited for that because one of my favorites.
Well, let's talk a little bit about culinary because there are a lot of people, even with COVID happening, that still pick up to-go orders because now they know what quality of food is there. And it also really helps support the program itself, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think, unfortunately, the restaurant industry is still suffering and has still been hit very hard by COVID. But that will cycle back. I mean, unfortunately, it's a nasty, vicious cycle for a short time, but it's going to come back. We are Americans and we love to go out and eat. So, the short downturn we're going to have over that for maybe the next year, it'll just come right back. But they get great skills, and you can go walk into a kitchen and become, a fry cook or something, and they'll build you up. But the skills you learn in here and the formal culinary skills is irreplaceable to what you're going to go learn in a kitchen like that.
Well, and that actually, everything that you're doing at STC, would you say that it's built around the need of the community?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why we're here. That's who we get our advice from. Every program has advisories made up of local businesses and employers. So they tell us what they need, and we make sure we incorporate that in with the curriculum. And then every couple of years with the state, we update the curriculum. And if there's a new technology or something new in the industry that needs to be incorporated into our standards that we teach, we get that built in to make sure that what we're teaching is relevant to today's workforce.
So we've hit about 6 programs, 5 or 6 programs, maybe 7.
9. I'm not counting.
Well, we've hit the financial side of things, which if there's a fear factor, the worst thing you can do is not pick up the phone or not come in and talk to somebody. Get rid of the fear of not knowing, and actually go and find out. I think the best thing that ever happens to people is when they get educated on what they need to get educated to learn.
Yeah, I mean, so many people say, I wish I would have started this sooner. I just kept thinking about it. They just have to take the leap of faith and come in. And then if we have something that suits their needs and is what they want, I guarantee that they're going to leave here moving on in life very successfully. And that's what we strive for. The other 2 things we didn't talk about yet is, for our students out there, our citizens out there that don't have their high school diploma yet, or that are coming here from other countries, we have ESOL, which is for English for speakers of other languages. So we will teach you formal English here and get you, our whole goal for ESOL is to get you productive in the workforce so you can communicate in the workforce. And then 2, the GED. We'll prep you and get you ready. And our teachers in those programs are absolutely fantastic. I know I say that about every program, but they may be some of our best teachers, and they get those. We get all of our students that want it through. The success rate is so high for our GED program. And then when I walk into our ESOL classrooms, we've got doctors and nurses and lawyers that have come from other countries and are learning English here. Such a great program, great people, and we move them quickly through English as well.
And all these classes are really designed for the success of the student. Different than, and I don't want to say different. I want to say it like this. What you're going to learn with the programs at STC are really driven towards getting people in and acclimated to a career move within a year, right?
Yeah, there's no fluff in this. We're trying to get you prepared to go into a career, not a cashier job, an actual skilled career in a year. So there's no time. Every program is jam-packed for that entire year. And what we do is so much hands-on. That is the purpose of a technical college, is to be a hands-on learning environment. So it's jam-packed, and it is geared solely to get you ready for that career.
All of your classes, ESOL and the English side of things excluded, but that still, I'm going to throw that in as opens the doorway, 1, with communication, but 2, you're really driving people to the one thing that's the most important part, and that's a higher dollar value towards themselves, correct?
Absolutely. Whether people want to admit it or not, money is unfortunately one of the key things to being successful in life. And a piece of that is you've got to have a good career. The only way to make, for the most part, to make decent money is you need to have a good training, a good background. We provide that. And then ultimately you can move on and be successful.
How many students are going through STC programs a year from now compared to when the school first opened?
So, on average, when you look at our campuses, number 1, we also have a Sarasota campus. I want to mention that too. I know we're focused on our Northport campus, but our Sarasota campus has over 40 programs. That's the, original campus. They're huge. So we're getting, over 2,000 students a year between the 2 campuses. Down here, we're looking at about 125 to 150 students a year coming through those 8 or 9 programs throughout the year and graduating out, moving out into the community. And you're talking that over 8 programs. So that's a pretty good it's a pretty good chunk out of those 8 programs. I mean, one of our goals, and we've been working with the district and the EDC with our city, is to try and push to get another phase of development, so we have even more to offer down here in Northport.
And I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because we've had futuristic talks on the show before. What are some of the things that you're kind of targeting in the need of the area for future classes?
Well, I mean, if I was to have a class poof tomorrow, or a building tomorrow that they finished, you know, things like automotive, plumbing, electricity, HVAC, some of the main trades that are hot right now and have continued to be hot are, you know, everybody, you need electricity, you need HVAC in Florida. You can't live without either.
Yeah, there's never not going to be a need for any of those.
So, you know, those are key programs we have at the main campus. We offer the apprenticeship programs down here too. I mean, that's a whole nother level of students that are down here that take HVAC and electrical. Once you're working for an employer that sends them to us, and we give them formal training so they become journeymen and even more skilled and more valuable. But
so explain that a little bit, because there are a lot of people out there that say, what is he talking about right now? But talk a little bit about the apprentice program and why that is a valuable thing.
Gotcha. So, I mean, when you leave one of our programs, whether you go from here or you just walk right onto the job, you have a entry level skill set to no skill set, and you're working your way up. But in order to become a master technician, master electrician, journeyman, whatever the lingo is for each of those trades, to get that next level of training and become the lead person for your company, you need to go. One of the things you go through is an apprenticeship, which is just a formal training. So you're working during the day, and then you're coming here at night several nights a week for however long the program is. And that's sponsored through your employer, but you're going to add value to you as a person, and then your employer is also going to compensate you for that. So once you become a journeyman, I mean, your dollar amount goes up from that entry level to above it to almost, in some cases, over double that amount.
And I can't even begin to tell people what an important factor doubling your income would be. How long is that apprenticeship for?
Most of them are anywhere from 2 to 4 years. Depends on what apprenticeship it is. We offer plumbing, HVAC, electrical at our Sarasota campus. We offer HVAC and electrical here. They're also looking at additional ones at our main campus, but it's a great start. And then aside from our apprenticeships, which, you know, most of our people listening probably aren't at that level. If they're looking to come here, you need to get the job first and be employed before you can join an apprenticeship. But we did start something exciting here too this year. And this is one of the things I want to make sure we cover before we leave, is with all of this COVID stuff, we were able to get this rapid credentialing grant. So one of the things that we're working on offering is fast track programs, which are short versions of our larger programs that will get you employed in the field quickly. They're sponsored through us and Career Edge. So it's no money out of pocket. You just have to go through our interview process and meet some basic criteria. And then we'll get you in a program for a few months, for a few nights a week, and we're going to get you employed. So this HVAC one we are offering in a couple weeks. That program is closed. We've already filled it. We actually had the students, before they even start the class, they've already been interviewed by employers and approved by the employers. So once they get the training, they've already got a job. And that happened before they step foot in class.
That is crazy.
So
I mean, that's great news. But that's unbelievable.
And I see you guys up on the screen. It's about a $1,250 program that's no cost to the student. We're going to sponsor that, or Career Edge is going to sponsor that. We've partnered with them. We've had it going for several years at the main campus. We do it in automotive. We do it in marine. We're doing it in HVAC. We're going to do it in some manufacturing. We're going to do that here on this campus once we get the equipment in. We've ordered with the money. So there are going to be some fast programs for those who can't take a year out of their life. Hopefully they can take 3 months and three nights out of their life. And we will have them employed in whatever that field is. And we offer them at both campuses.
3 months to change your life.
Yeah. Now you're going to go in with a little less skill set than if you had gone to our full program, but you're still getting some essential skills and you're getting a job, and they're going to support you. And then you can trade when you get through the HVAC, for instance. Now you can go into our apprenticeship program. So you're working full time, making good money at the end of this, and now you can get an apprenticeship, and you're going to hopefully double that salary in a few years.
And that's the game plan, really, with these fast programs or even your yearly program, is to not get into a class for 3 months and just be stabilized right there. You're really wanting people to understand STC is about promoting yourself through your programs, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot to be said with what you guys are attempting to do, and I shouldn't say attempting, what you are doing to make STC a really good foundation in our community, not just here, but North Campus also. STC's been around for quite a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we're in our 51st year. And I know it's had different names, SCTIs, Sarasota Votech. It's been all over with naming, but we just, it's a state thing. But yes, we've been around a long time.
Let's give the contact information out again about how people can find you, because we've got it scrolling on the Facebook screen. So if you're listening on the radio, Facebook Real Talk 97.5. You can share this video with anybody who's interested in STC. I would share it all you can, because the more people that get the information and listen, there's probably something for everyone within your circumference of friends that are looking for a job change or a career move or even a start of a career. And with that fast track program, that's amazing to me that you could get moving in 3 months.
Yeah, no, and it's really exciting. I mean, that was a huge, we have so many furloughed and unemployed people that have, due to COVID and whatever else has happened recently. So this gets them on a fast track into a new career. If they were in something that was dead end and just not cutting it, or if they just want to change altogether. But yeah, so again, go visit us at suncoast.edu. If you just Google Suncoast Technical College, we're going to be the first thing that comes up. Look at our 40 plus programs. I mean, whether you come here or you come to our Sarasota campus, it's in South Sarasota, so it's not too far. We offer over 40 programs, from automotive to healthcare, surge tech, firefighting, police, you name it. We pretty much have it. I mean, the workforce is made up of 70% of the programs that we offer. So the job opportunities are there. Everything's maybe just a tick over a year to less. You're not going to leave here with $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 of student loans. That's not going to happen. And you're going to go out and get employed right away.
And even if you've had student loans in the past, there are situations where you help people to obtain another one, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't do student loans. I mean, if you're in default of your student loan, unfortunately, you can't get financial aid. But what we get is Pell Grant money, and Pell Grant's money that you don't pay back. You may have a small portion to pay, unless you make enough money. They figure the $5,000 or $6,000, but you can pay by course throughout the program. We have some options. You can apply for a scholarship. You can apply with CareerSource and look to get some state monies through them. There's options. You just have to come see us if you're worried about the money piece. That can't be your option. What you need to be worried about is getting a career. And if that's what you want, come and see us. We'll make the money. 99% of the time, we make the money piece work.
And that's due to 51 years being within the community. You couldn't do all this stuff with employers on the fast track program if you didn't have your reputation intact, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the reason why we have these fast track programs is because we have these groups of employers locally in the area in each of the fields that we offer them in, that come together 2, 3, 5 times a year and discuss what can we do to help them. They're looking for students. They want to support the program. We have a great relationship with our businesses in the community. Awesome.
Is there anything you'd like to add in? Any kudos you'd like to add in to anybody at STC? We've got about a minute left.
No, of course, always thank my staff that work here. All of our instructors are fantastic. Our front desk ladies, our student services. Everybody here does a great job. They're all here for the right reasons, to work with the students that come in here and get people through, started in their careers. Thank you to you and KDW for having this and getting our information out there, and all of those out there listening. It's word of mouth. My hope is that either potential students are listening, or if nothing else, when you go out and talk to somebody and you hear them talking about wanting a new job, don't forget to mention us. It's a great option short term to get you in a career.
Well, I know within our walls, since STC is open in South County, not only have we talked about it more, but I've heard conversations out on the street about STC more. I know a lot of the students that have graduated through the EMT program, and they're not just sitting at their job without gaining experience and furthering their career. They're actually gaining in their hourly wage since the program started from start to finish. So, 3 years ago, someone took a course and they've now got 3 years experience on the job because of STC opening a South County facility. So I just give kudos to anybody who's taken the challenge to move ahead, and anybody who's stuck with it. And also anybody who's taken the course and did it for self-improvement. There's nothing wrong with that at this point. There's always more to learn. Mike, you've done a great job. Thank you so much for being involved and being a huge part of our community. STC is fantastic. Give them a call, 941-257-2252. Mike, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.